Hey guys! Today we're going to be adding a delete recipe feature to our recipe view sheet. We want a button that will first warn the user that the recipe will be permanently deleted, then remove all associated ingredients, followed by the recipe itself. Once deleted, we'll set a default entry to prompt the user to select a new recipe. Let's get started! First, let's draw out our button. Go to Insert, then Drawing. Once the drawing interface opens, choose a shape and draw a rectangle. I also want to add a trash icon, so click the image icon to open up the image selector. Switch over to the Google Images tab and search for trash can icon. Select an icon you like and insert it. Resize the icon to fit inside of the button. I'm also changing the background color to a light red to visually indicate this is a delete button. Next, draw a text box and type delete recipe. Adjust the font and size to match your aesthetic. Reposition and resize everything until you're happy with the look. Then save and close. Back on the sheet, move the button into place and adjust its size to fit your layout. Now let's make the button functional. Open up App Scripts and go to your code.js file. Scroll to the bottom. This is where we'll add the delete logic. Let's initialize the function. Const delete recipe equals parentheses arrow curly braces. Inside of the function, the first thing we want to do is alert the user before taking any action. Let's start by getting access to the UI. Const UI equals spreadsheet app dot get UI open and close parentheses. Then prompt the user and store their response. Const response equals UI dot alert open parentheses quote delete recipe end quote comma quote are you sure you want to delete this recipe end quote comma UI dot button set dot yes underscore no end parentheses. If the user clicks no, we want to exit early. So if parentheses response exclamation equal equal UI dot button dot yes in parentheses return. With the confirmation step in place, let's move on to the delete logic. We'll need to access three sheets: the recipe view, the recipes, and the ingredients. So we'll start by grabbing the recipe view sheet. Const recipe view sheet equals spreadsheet app dot get active open and close parentheses dot get sheet by name open parentheses quote recipe view end quote in parentheses. Now we're going to copy and paste that line twice and then update the sheet names accordingly. The first one will change to recipes. And in the second one, we'll change it to ingredients. Now I need to grab the recipe ID from the recipe view sheet. Instead of retyping, I'm just going to scroll up to my get ingredient data function. find the line for recipe ID, and then just copy it. Then we'll scroll back down and paste it inside of our function. Now let's grab the data from the ingredients sheet. Const data equals ingredients sheet dot get data range, open and close parentheses, dot get values, open and close parentheses. We'll loop through the data from the bottom to the top so we don't accidentally skip rows when we're deleting. For, open parentheses, let I equals data.length -1, semicolon. I is greater than or equal to 1, semicolon. I minus minus, closing parentheses, open the curly braces. If, open parentheses, data, square bracket I, square bracket 4, triple equals, recipe ID, closing parentheses, open up the curly braces, ingredient sheet, dot, delete row, parentheses, I plus 1, closing parentheses. And now we can delete the actual recipe from the recipe sheet. Recipe sheet, dot, delete row, open parentheses, recipe ID, closing parentheses. Let's click that save icon and then swap back over to our sheet. Find your button and then click on it. Choose Assign Script. In the input box, type Delete Recipe and click OK. If you already have a test recipe, go ahead and select it. If not, let's take a moment to create one. Click the Delete button. You should see the alert appear, and if you confirm, you'll notice that the recipe disappears. But you might also see some red triangle errors all over the place. That's because this view is still referencing a recipe that no longer exists. To fix this, let's add a default entry. Head over to the recipe sheet. Insert a new row at the top and name it None. In the instructions column, write, please select a recipe. Now go back to the recipe view sheet and update your ingredients formula so it shows nothing instead of an A when there are no results. To do this, first copy your current formula in case you need to revert it. Wrap the formula in an is an A check. And then wrap all of that inside of an if, like this. If, parentheses, is an A, parentheses, the formula, closing parentheses, comma, empty quotes, comma, and then the formula again. You're just going to go ahead and paste it. And then one more closing parentheses. This says if the formula returns an error, show nothing. Otherwise, show the actual results. Now we can go back into our code.gs file and give it a line to reset the recipe view. So we're going to type recipe view sheet dot get range parentheses quote C1 colon G2 quote closing parentheses dot set value parentheses and quotes none. Click save and then switch back to your sheet. Let's add a new test recipe and give it a few ingredients. Once it's saved, select the recipe and click delete. Click yes to confirm, and everything should work correctly. That's it for today's video. In the next one, we'll polish up the overall functionality. That will be the final video in our recipe functionality series. After that, we're diving into the meal planning functionality. Thank you so much for watching, and please consider subscribing and liking the video. I'll see you in the next one.